no, I disagree. That position is a town position, hired by the town, okay?
Not funded.
It's funded by the town through a revolving fund that's supplemented by an outside organization.
Paid by town, that money was donated to the town for a specific purpose to.
Well, then check your state law, because if there is, then benefits should come out of it.
They do, they do.
They do, but they're included in our overall benefits. They're included in our overall fringe benefit package.
Yes, the source of funding is.
The funding for that comes from different sources.
I think if there's a requirement, a legal requirement, we ought to put it in the omnibus article. If there isn't, well then, I'm comfortable that you're watching the expenditures because you've got to sign off on it. I mean, I don't know how everyone else feels, but it would seem to me that it really ought to belong in there, especially as we go downstream in year 3, we may be picking that up, depending on.
So I think it should be, included, so it's not as though we're adding a new position. The funding mechanism may change.
I think it's a fine idea. Put in the budget, show the funding source. Yeah. When you show the funding source, it still doesn't change anything except that, as Bob says, down the road, that might change.
The position is having been there.
It also forces a budget to be presented,
We're gonna
right?
cut it, you know, hopefully we fund it, you know. I mean, the hope is it's self-funded, that's the hope.
But as it gets to that, where the program starts supporting itself, there's only some accountability, but you still have to be in the out to show the town meeting. Yep. I would.
All right, let's move on. Retirement trust fund. Well, now they run out of numbers. Retirement trust fund, and that is probably a passover this year, and
I have to imagine, given that situation, that we want to provide
accept gifts of land. What gifts are coming to us? This is the
three
Dimitri?
parcels that have been offered by Contemporary Realty Trust, two of which the Conservation Commission has indicated an interest in. They're shown here. The third one is the property that is behind Lindor Road, and that would be for municipal purposes. And on acceptance, the town will exchange deed, receive deed on these properties. The deed will specify conservation on the two parcels and
That's the one.
potentially land that we could divide and sell maybe to the butters.
Oh, absolutely.
That's that block of land
Yeah,
behind
yeah.
all those houses.
Yeah, I have a map if anybody wants to see it.
That's if the abutters choose to buy it.
Yeah,
If not,
right, of course.
we lose it on the tax rolls. It's just gonna sit there.
Perhaps one abutter wants to buy it. And the thing is, you might lose it anyway. If they stop paying, you end up owning it anyway. But it's landlocked.
Right.
Yeah, it's not gonna be
But I would
developed.
rather get it that way than just accept it.
But, you know, the area is wet back there in certain places, and this could help septic system, issues.
No, because nobody can build on it anyways.
There are 9 parcels that abut against it.
Mhm.
So, I mean, the town does have the opportunity to count.
Somewhere in the Nile Valley.
Why? Why would you pay taxes on it? Why would you pay taxes on
Nothing's
it?
gonna happen to it.
It's nothing gonna happen to it.
Some
Why would
people
you buy
are in
it?
the frame of mind that,
You would
there's
buy
one
it.
parcel right by my house, not next to my house, but across the street. I tried talking to my neighbor to buy it, he goes, why? I don't use it anyway. You know?
So
Why would
far,
I buy
so
it?
far,
That's right.
so far,
Use the
everything we've
tax
covered, the
on it.
board is
Nine
recommending.
people go somewhere.
Next article,
If someone wants to put a speech on that.
next article, I'm looking at the time, fellas, is authorized lease of municipal property. I take it this is the,
This is the,
Cell
cell
tower?
tower site at 55 Swan Pond Road. As you recall, this was bid out in 2005, and we did receive bid approval. There was a permit that was granted through the CCC that was appealed. Eventually, the appeal was overturned. Board of Appeals, I'm sorry. Board of Appeals. And the appeal was overturned, and the person whose firm that submitted the proposal, T-Mobile, lost interest during that period of time. Since it came in contact and re-indicated their interest to the town, the amount that you see here is the amount that they stated in the bid. And this was originally solicited back.
Do we have to go to this, do we have to have this lease in town meeting every year?
Now,
Once we do it once,
the
it
law
goes in.
merely, the law merely requires that any lease in excess of 5 years, in excess of 3 years, be authorized by the town meeting.
So we don't do it again for another 5 years.
Correct. So what we would simply do is get that authority, and if we decide we have another cell tower location in another area of town, we'll go back to town meeting in July.
Okay, do we have a recommendation from the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Who seconded it? I'm sorry, I jumped.
Sorry,
the gun.
second.
Joe,
I
did you get that?
Yep.
Prior year's bills, we've already recommended, has this changed, any additions?
No, but I would suggest that the funding source will obviously be free cash and.
$80?
Sanitation, 15,600, and this is a waste that wasn't paid for at the school.
Yeah.
And the fire medical, I'm not sure what that was, but
Just a,
it's $80.
I think it's a retiree medical bill, retiree bill was, limited to state. Just a timing issue.
And we've recommended that already, I believe. General laws, chapter 90, this is renumber and relocate. This is clerical. We don't have a recommendation yet, so I would ask for a motion.
Recommend.
Motion by Mr.
Second.
Harris, seconded by Mr. Dardino. All in favor?
Excuse me, this is just a matter of renumbering it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just clerical.
Aye.
Unanimous. Next article is amend the code of the zoning bylaws. We're not gonna vote on that tonight, I don't think. No.
43D right now.
This is the what?
43D. The exercise permit.
Oh, expedite, and this was what, to fix the,
That's what, actually, look at our paragraphs that are here, intent is to, integrate it into the development code, so that it fits in all the proper places in the code.
So this is-
That is, when they come, somebody comes in, obviously the 43D is dedicated very tight right now, when they come in to a particular type of permit, whether it's for health, building, or
Mhm.
building fund, the proper, annotation to
all right, so we basically approved this, and this is just clerical again.
puts it into this language, puts it into the proper place, run into it. So when they come to pull a particular permit, the permit issuer knows that it's an expedited permit, and they don't have time to take it.
Okay.
Move to recommend?
Motion by Mr. Dardino, seconded by Mr. Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Next one is zoning bylaws, add new section 280B. Warren?
Fine. Yeah, in terms of the sign,
Oh, yes.
yes, the sign, get rid of the neon signs, so that it's general, local. Somebody use it for?
Is there anybody, no, I just didn't know who's affected. Is there
Hopefully
anybody-
not.
Any business currently that will be affected?
Actually, anything that currently has one will be exempt from it. It will keep anybody from the future from flooding them out. We really don't want this in general local business. There are a couple there now. I thought the zoning
I can't think of any.
because,
Who has one now, Warren, do you know?
well, actually, in the new rider service, one little business is open or something. And then the new, now called the tennis cafe, using gatherings there.
Do you mean they wouldn't be able to put a sign in the window that says
Neon
open?
sign, it said open.
Question, they can put it outside, but
So I just want to be clear. So they could put it behind the window inside the building.
It says internally and externally illuminated signs.
You know, it says internally and externally. I'm not going to be in favor of this.
Yeah, libertarian in me.
Oh,
Could I clarify, because there, Warren, the piece that the selectmen are referring to right now in the warrant has to do these, LED illuminated signs.
Yeah.
These message boards, for lack of a better word.
Flashing, everything, everything.
So it would be section 200-E, subsection D.
Right.
And, board members, just for your information, today we received in a proposal that came from Heidi that dealt with the neon sign, and that is at the end of the packet, and it's got
Yeah.
number 7 written on it.
Yep.
And it amends section 280-N, subsection N, and that deals with the neon or other direct lighting signs. That's a new one. I haven't seen that one until today. And I think they're separate articles.
Yeah, they actually, we actually created them.
Have they been heard?
Yes, we did, and that's two separate items.
and I take it you're recommending both of them.
Yeah, we recommend you both of them, because, we saw the beginning of neon signs going up in our residential, right next to residential districts, general and local business districts surrounded by residential. I don't think anybody wants flashing neon signs in their window all night. And that's basically, that's what steps up.
I don't have any problem with getting rid of flashing neon signs, but open signs that say open.
Yeah.
Neon open
not in
signs,
favor of
that's the standard everywhere. I remember we've got
Sure it
neon
is.
signs, I mean, that's not I don't find that offensive.
This is much too restrictive.
We turn it off at night, but without the ability to regulate when they turn them on and off, you take one, you take them all.
This doesn't
It's
do
okay.
that, Warren, does it? Does it allow us to regulate if they turn it
No,
off at night?
no, it says they can't have it.
doesn't allow them.
No, it says they can't have it.
Shut them off.
This is, as Mike would say, over government regulation.
Yeah,
In my opinion, I agree. I'm not in favor of that. Myself.
I get, I guess, the two,
Tube neons?
two neon signs, I don't find, but like I said, the one on 114 that blasted in my eyes, that I wouldn't wanna see in the
The
center
video,
corner of
the giant video game in front of the giant video game in front of, what is it, the veterinarian or something.
Well, I say what I always say, if it's your property, you can do what you want with it, so I'm voting against this one.
Unless you live next door, Mike.
It's not my property. It would be. Who am I to complain?
I think the idea here is that, I probably would not have enough to find out people, because of where I live. But that doesn't mean that I would be interested in allowing somebody else, if I was just to say, live next door, that they're gonna have to have a neon sign in their bedroom all night long, and they're living with the sign.
It's their property.
I think that our main, we still allow them to make roads, so I think that that's an okay place for them to use. But to have them in a residential district,
I'm not gonna argue with you, I'm just gonna vote against it, I'm
If I
sorry.
may, Mr. Chair. But I guess, Warren, you know, just for the sake of a friendly argument, a neon sign this big that says open doesn't project into someone's living room or bedroom. You have to be looking at it to see it, rather than like a spotlight or something like that. No, I'm not gonna be in favor of that.
well, the problem is, well, that's fine, I mean, the
Yeah,
problem
no, I know, I
is
understand.
it's a sign that, if you go by and look at a couple of signs like that, again, they look at the size of the sign that's there and what's coming, at some point you may look back.
No, I'll drive around and look, see.
Because basically it does. You try to catch what's like, putting the people out of the side, how they're gonna have them.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at Heidi's input here on the neon signs, and if I read it right, it says, to see if the town will amend section 280 and prohibitive signs so as to prohibit neon signs or other direct lighted signs in the local business/general business zoning districts in addition